Hello and welcome to Louis Phillips in Pursuit of Excellence. My guest today is arguably India's greatest ever badminton champion. Of course, a Padma Award winner and the first Indian winner of the All England Championships in England. Prakash, great to see you.
Same here.
You look like you could get back on court again.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
You look fit. You keep playing still?
I play a little squash just to keep fit. Go to the gym once or twice. Got to be careful now, so can't do it day in and day out, but I try to manage.
Fantastic. I have to take you back in time a little bit because we talked about this before. Well, we played badminton way back when. We won't mention the year just to be right. But do you remember the time when we played badminton way back?
We played the interstate in Belgaum. I won't mention the year. I still remember. I think you were equally good.
Yeah, it was a good time because I think that obviously that time you were talking about getting into badminton full time, and I couldn't make up my mind. And of course, once I saw you playing, I decided to go to some other sport.
No, not really. I think you were quite good in badminton as well. If you had continued, I'm sure you could have done well. But I think I was just coming up at that time. I think I was still a junior.
Yeah.
I think initially I started, not with the intention of becoming a champion. I just loved the game, just as you love tennis, and so my father used to play the sport. So that's how I just started playing. In a marriage hall. A very small marriage hall. We could play only 6 months in a year whenever there were no weddings. So that was how popular badminton was in those days, in the 60s.
Interesting, isn't it? Because, at that time, as tennis was as well, I suppose people asked your parents, why are you practicing so hard? What is badminton going to do for you? What were your responses at the time?
No, I think it was just the passion. We never thought of, what the game would give us in return. We loved the game so much. We never thought of, future or, making a career out of it. I think, that came much later. We liked the game so much. So whenever we got an opportunity, me and my brother and a couple of other youngsters, would, as soon as we get an opportunity, we would go and play the sport, in a small club in Malleshwaram. So I think, just the passion and love for the sport and nothing else. And whatever happened later on, it was just, it was a bonus.
Well, I wouldn't say that. But I think when you look at something like that, did you have a problem with sort of managing both school, academics and doing badminton as well?
No, not really. I think we were able to manage. It was like I mentioned. The game was not very popular. In India at that time. In the 60s and even 70s.
Yeah.
So there was a season. We had to play for maybe 6 months in a year, and the remaining 6 months you could always make up your academics. So I think I was able to manage both. I was fairly good in studies also. Whenever I was in town, made it a point to attend the classes regularly. And,
at what time would you say that you decided I want to do this even more? Passion has driven me to a point where I really would like to be India's number one or win the national championships and so on.
I think when I won the junior and senior title together at the age of 16. So that was when I realized that I had something extra. Because at 16 I won the junior and the senior in the same year. So, I decided that I think this was the time when, I took it up seriously. Then I thought I should put in a little more effort and try to do. I didn't know where I would reach. I wanted to be the best, wanted to win the All England. But at that time, I think I was never sure whether I could do it because, nobody from India had done it. And we were not a force to reckon with in world badminton. There were countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, China, Korea, Denmark. So people were, people like Nandu Natekar had done reasonably well, but they had not won any big event. So, I decided that, I'll give my, 100%, put in my 100% effort, try to do as much as possible and, try to reach try to reach my potential. I think that was my intention. I was not sure whether I could do it. But whatever I decided was, to put in 100% effort in all my training sessions.
What would you say was your biggest sort of driving force? What made you sort of reach for that impossible? Because At that point in time, we don't know. As we were growing up, it was a similar issue of not knowing what the world held for you. So what was the driving force there to be able to reach for that?
Well, I think it was just just wanted to challenge myself, wanted to see, what I was capable of. Basically, try to reach my potential. I think that was, I did not play to please anybody. I did not please to play my parents or, my employers or my college or my, government. I just wanted to see what I was capable of, so that kept me going. I decided that, every training session I attend, I will put in my 100% effort and, leave the rest, whatever I was capable of. So, at the end of at the end of my career, right now I have no regrets because I know that, whatever I could do, whatever was in my hands, I have, put in the full effort and I couldn't have done anything more under the circumstances. So, I have absolutely no regrets of not having. I think that's what kept me going, even though I didn't know what the future was.
To go from national level badminton to international level is a huge jump. I mean, you've got so many things to think about and things that you don't know. So how did you start to focus on something like that?
Well, again, I think there was another event which again was the turning point of my career. I was the national champion for 7 years, so from 16 to 23, I won the national 7 times, but didn't do anything significantly at the international level. It was not because, it was not due to lack of effort, but basically I didn't know what to do. We hardly got an opportunity to go out, maybe 2 tournaments in a year. So whatever I knew, I would, do. But in 1976, when I was, I think, 21, 22, I got an opportunity to train, go and train with the Indonesians for 6 weeks. And I would consider that as one of the turning points of my career. I learned so much from that one trip, especially the physical training part.
Was there anything specific about the Indonesians and the Malaysians that kind of separated them from us, besides the fact that they were perhaps more suited to playing badminton or obviously very athletic and very light on their feet and so on? Were we a little bit more sort of flat-footed, less agile, that kind of thing?
No, I think they have the strength. We have our own strength. They were more physical. They were faster. They were fitter. They were stronger. Whereas we had, our own strengths. We were good in deception. I think tactically we were much better. More to do with the mind. So, what I did was I came up with a style of my own. I did not completely, change my game and started playing exactly like them. I kept the strengths, whatever our strengths we had, like deception, wrist. We had very good wrists. The Indians generally have a very good wrist, so we have a good control over the shuttle. So I kept all those and took the good points from their game and included in my game and came up with a style of my own. So I think that gave me the best results.
So you went on, and the late 70s came about, and then the late 70s and early 80s were your best time in badminton, the best time for Indian badminton. Just take us through those moments, because you won the Danish Championships, the Swedish Open, and all of those Scandinavian events as well. But when you came into that All England Championships that year, did you feel that now this is my moment, I can win, or am I one of the challengers, one of the favorites for this tournament?
Frankly speaking, I don't think I had expected that I'll win. But I was in good form. I first played the Danish Open in March 1980. I won that. Then played the Swedish Open. I won. Most of all the matches I won in straight games. So I knew that I was in good form. And but Lim Swee King, who was the defending champion, didn't play in these 2 tournaments to conserve himself for the All England. And so I went for the All England, and I was feeling good. So, but still, I was not sure whether I could win the title. But I decided that I'll put in my best effort. And I had probably played Lim Swee King maybe 3 or 4 times before that. I had never beaten him. And luckily, again, I was in good form. So we both reached the finals. I didn't drop a game. Again, in the finals, I decided that, I'll give him a tough fight. I'll not give up. And I felt good, when I just knocked before the finals. So I knew that, this time it could be now, So, and I had a strategy in place. Basically he was much faster than me, so I decided to slow him down a little bit, keep him, more on the baseline, and I had to get my length right because he had a very powerful smash, so I had to keep him, more at the back, And using my deception, I slowed his game down, and I think that really worked. And I won the finals also in straight games.
What was it like afterwards? Because there must have been immense pressure on you as All England champion to travel the world, and everyone's expecting you to win now.
Like you rightly mentioned, I realized that winning the title for the first time is much easier, but to remain there, I think requires a lot more effort. So it was definitely a lot more pressure, later on after that, because earlier when you had not won the All England, if you reach the quarterfinals or semi-finals, maybe people would still be happy. At least he's made it to the quarters or semis. But once you set a benchmark and you have won, even if you lose in the finals, it's still not good enough. People say, his game has gone down. So that kind of puts pressure. But I think you need to work hard. I think it's a different kind of pressure. One needs to learn to cope up with such kind of pressure if one has to remain on the top. But I think it's been a worthwhile journey, and it's been a very satisfying career for me.
Okay, so you ended up winning the national championships, was India's best player, obviously a great potential. People are all looking to you now to do better and to be able to excel, and all of that. So, I really want to ask you about how you took it from there, from the national level to international level. But we're going to take a short break. We'll take a short break and be right back. Hello and welcome back. We're at the magnificent Maharaja Suite at the Leela Palace and Resorts in Bangalore, one of my favorite cities in the country, of course, talking to probably Mr. Bangalore himself, Prakash Padukone, lives here. Prakash, great to have you with us on the show. Prakash, that's just a remarkable story about winning the All England Championships, but when you go back, how do you maintain that level?
Well, I really had to work hard. Luckily also, just after the All England, I got an opportunity to become a professional and move to Denmark. I think that was again another turning point of my career. I used to play for a club, even though I continued representing India in the major international tournaments. But I think because I'd reached a stage where I could completely focus only on my game. I had a professional manager, in those days, who would look after all my other, my travel, my visas and other things. And I would only focus on playing. So I think that helped me a lot. My shift to Denmark for 6 years, I played a lot with Morten Frost and, a lot of the other Danish players. I stayed there, for about between December 1980 and December 1986. I think that helped me a lot to remain on the top for a long time.
So, Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy that you launched thereafter. And now you're just talking about it off camera here, and you mentioned it's nearly 20 years now for the academy. It's unbelievable. It's just flown by. But what made you want to start it? Did you feel that you could impart your experience and your knowledge to the next generation?
Yeah, basically, in fact, Vijay, it was, I got inspired by your Britannia Amritraj Tennis Academy, which you started in Chennai. I think that was one of the first privately sponsored, in Indian sport. I think, in the 90s, or maybe it was in the 80s, it was not easy to get corporate sponsorship. Everything was government funded. Yes. So, like I mentioned, I had gone through a lot of hardships, coming up, without absolutely any facilities. So I didn't want the present generation, the players who were playing at that time, to go through the same kind of hardships. So what I tried to do was, started the academy with sponsorship, and it was completely funded by the sponsors. And we made sure that whatever hardships I had gone through, the present generation or the trainees who were in the academy, did not have to go through the same. They had the best infrastructure, they had the best equipment, the best coaches, best international exposure, good contracts, everything, whatever I did not have as a youngster. So that was basically the idea behind it. It was more of a center of excellence. It was not so much a commercial venture, to make money, or it was more to give back to the game.
I mean, I think you've explained it pretty much during our conversation, but if you had something to tell youngsters today who are watching the show, what would be your theme to tell them, someone who had a dream to be a badminton champion at a time when badminton was nothing, and today it is truly something?
Well, I think I've pretty much mentioned during the course of the interview. Be prepared to make a lot of sacrifices. Be patient. I think patience is one thing. Like for 7 years, I did not do anything at the international level, but I kept it. Just kept going. So sometimes it clicks. So you got to be patient. These days I think players and parents, both expect very quick result. They start today and tomorrow they want to be state level. Day after they want to be at the national level. So it does not happen like that.
It happens in every sport, I guess.
Yeah, I think everywhere. Probably all walks of life, not just in sport.
Yes.
But you've got to be patient. You got to give yourself time. Give 100% in every training session you do, and try to reach your potential. That's all. That's always I insist, because everybody cannot become world champions. Everybody cannot win an Olympic gold medal. But if you can reach your potential, and at the end of your career, if you have no regrets, you can't do anything more than that. That's been my motto in life. Like give you 100% and let life take its course. So I think that would be my advice for the youngsters as well.
And rightly so, yeah. Absolutely. Family time. You have two lovely daughters. One girl is a superstar in Bollywood. The other girl is on the way to becoming a superstar in golf. Anisha plays great golf from what you tell me. But it's interesting, isn't it, that one of them wanted to be a model and a Bollywood star, which she is, and arguably the best actress on Indian soil today. And you've got a second daughter who plays good golf. Is that something that she would like to pursue and become a professional golfer?
Yeah, I think that's what basically what we've tried to do is my father, when I was when I finished my school, he gave me the option to pursue my passion. My elder brother was more into academics, so he let him choose academics. He said, "You do what you want." So I said, I want to pursue badminton and do BCom. If he had forced me, again, like in the 70s, all the parents wanted their children to go into either engineering or medicine, to make a career. So if he had forced me into it, I don't know what would have happened, So I, always remembered that, and so we've allowed our daughters to pursue their passion. Deepika was always fond of modeling, and she was always wanted to be in the films. And but Anisha, is exactly the opposite. She's played all sports. So we said, you pursue, you work hard. We are there to support. You have to come up on your own. The children are happy because they are pursuing what they like, what they enjoy, and we are there just to support them.
That's the theme. Work hard and follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Prakash, it's absolutely a delight to talk with you. You have a wonderful family.
Thank you.
All the very best to you. Always have great memories of that match we played in Belgaum together. So I'll always remember that.
Thanks.
Treasure it.
Pleasure talking
Prakash,
to you.
thanks so much.
Sure. Thanks.
All the best.
Thanks a lot, Vijay.
You can also watch this episode online at louisphilippe.com.